Hello to my Taurus. Okay, Taurus. This reading is for 20th of April through 27th, 28th, 27th, 20/28, which will push us right into the new cycle, new moon, new cycle, okay? All right, let's get into it. We had a full pink moon in Libra. Yes, for those of you all who like to follow the moon phases, let's get into your reading. Let's get right into your reading, Taurus. This is a general reading, so take on what resonates with you. If you're interested in a personal reading, queenamunra.com, or my information is down below in the description. Let's get into it. Already cleared the space, already prayed over your cards. Let's get into it. Let's see if we can get some good news for you. Let's see if we can get some good news for my Taurus. All right, Taurus, you all rule second house. Second house is all about personal resources, money habits, possessions, values, financial security, self-worth, and also outcome. And so we are in year 9, right? So you want to learn how to see things from a higher frequency. Year 9, Sagittarius rules the 9th house. And 9th house is all about higher education, philosophy, law, religion, travel, ethics, morals, personal beliefs, spiritual beliefs, right? So you do not want to be entangled in other people's karmic cycle unknowingly because you're waiting to physically see something before you believe it. So many people are in people's karmic cycles and they don't even know why. They keep dating the same people, keep repeating cycles, and they don't even know why. And they're caught in a loop and don't even know why they're in a loop, right? They don't even understand why spiritually. They don't even understand why they're still in the same loop and can't get out of a loop. They still tired. They waiting on because they don't physically, they don't see it. They just like, okay, they don't realize it's spiritual law, right? They don't understand it. So let's make sure you're not caught up in something spiritual because you're waiting to physically see something. So let's get into it. Let's get right into it. All right. So here we have, I am polite with everyone I meet. I am polite with everyone I meet, right? Right. Remember, I am. That is source, the creator. So let's start with that first. I am. That's at the root chakra. Root chakra. So in a spiritual sense. So in my shorts, I uploaded a cleansing of auric layers, like how to cleanse your auric layer, right? And remember, this is the year 9, and 9 is about higher education, philosophy, law, including spiritual laws. Even when you hear people get like several life sentences, you think, okay, they transition. Physically, their physical body has been laid to rest. How are you getting several life sentences? Like, how do people get like 100 years and 300 years? Life sentences, right? Because obviously somebody's on to something like an afterlife, right? Afterlife cycle, right? So you can be tied to people's karmic cycles, right? Tied to people's karmic cycles. 8 connects us with with Scorpio, which is the death card, but connecting us. We're not talking about any Scorpios, by the way. Scorpio is ruled by 2 planets. It's ruled by the Tower card, right? But it's also ruled by the Judgment card, which is a generational planet. And Pluto is the outer planet. It's the outermost planet, right? And so generationally, you could be tied generationally to other people's karma. You can be literally tied generationally to other people's karmic cycle, right? So you want to untie yourself to other people's karmic cycle. You all are an incredibly patient sign, but are you so patient to the point where you're tied to other people's karmic cycle long after sources told you to break chains with energies? Forgive and move on. Forgive and move on. If source is telling you to move on from something and you are staying connected, waiting to see something, and source is saying, I'm telling you to move on from something, and you still sitting there, like if you still sitting on a job, and source says, hey, look, I told you move on from that job because I got something better for you. You still staying connected because you got to physically see something. You staying people, places, and things because you're looking for physical money, people, places, and things. And so she's saying, I told you to move on. You staying connected to somebody's karma. You don't have to physically see what the karma is. It could be something generationally you're tied to, and you can't figure out for the life of you why something is happening. It's that fire, that passion, right? That passion. You could be tied to somebody who is very passionate about something. This is fire. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Somebody could be tied to something. So follow your interest. You are being called to master a talent you already own. The thing you do that comes so naturally to you is your gift. These passions are given to you as to make your life meaningful for yourself and for others. Find the inspiration to pursue your gifts in your daily life. So consider a few ways that you have fun with your talents today, no matter how small or trivial they may seem, right? 817. So you are tied to two karmics. You're tied to two karmics. And sources 8-1 here is connects us with the 8th house. You're tied to two karmics. Yeah, you're in a karmic cycle. You're in a karmic cycle. And this one right here is saying, source is saying to you, and source is shining a light on you. This is like sunlight. Something is a light has been shown on some kind of a secret. You're in a karmic cycle. This one right here, so say you're going to have to initiate taking some kind of action to close out a cycle. You're going to have to be the one. It keeps coming out in your readings. Keeps coming out. Yeah, you can be polite, but this I am is source, the great I am. So at the root, you're going to have to cut something off. You're going to have to initiate closing out a cycle. You're in a karmic cycle. So let's say, for instance, this may not be your story. This may not be your story. Let's say, for instance, you work for an organization and you like two managers, right? Let's say you like two managers, right? But you're caught in the middle of a bidding war at work, right? You like both of them. Both of them are cool. You get along with both of them. Like, you don't have any issue with either one of them. But they have something unresolved. That's karma. They have something unresolved within themselves. Unresolved within themselves, right? And they're both very passionate about something that's unresolved within themselves. So that you need to remove yourself from the equation. You need to remove yourself. You need to focus on, as a light has been shown on something. Something has been exposed. That's a light. Remember, the sun illuminates the moon, and the moon is about secrets. Some kind of secret has been exposed, or somebody's passionate about something, and you're not trying to get caught between some. You need to close out a cycle. You need to initiate closing out a cycle. So let's do it. All right. Yeah, you keep falling for some kind of bait. You keep falling for some kind of warm conversations, and it just strikes. Right? There it is, the number 8 right there. Meek does not mean weak. Meek does not mean weak. Right? Meek does not seem weak. Does not mean weak. Right? So something means sources want you to work on something within yourself. You're already a hard-working zodiac sign, right? But you're going to feel like you have a whole new lease on life once you remember you're an earth sign. So, and you're an incredibly patient sign. So, sources say once you do the inner work, like going online and like printing out stuff. We have access to the internet where people are giving people access, like inner knowledge, like just the physical knowledge of stuff right on the internet. Like, a lot of people are not gatekeeping online. People are sharing information online. So that's how you're going to save yourself. Instead of looking for somebody else to save you, you're going to save yourself. Yeah, you're going to save yourself. That's how you're going to stop falling for the bait. That's how you're going to put yourself back on center stage. That's how you're going to be victorious when you're apart from people. It's like, okay, you can go do the research yourself. You can do the research yourself, right? That's how you're empowering yourself. That is how you're empowering yourself. That's how you break karmic cycles, because it looks like an infinity symbol when you turn it to the side. That's how you're going to be able to stay focused. But something is very confusing for you, like in terms of like just like in terms of just information. Something is just very confusing for you. Like if somebody brings you something, you don't know whether to believe it or not believe something. And so source is saying, like in terms of like physical information, you can do your own research through prayer and meditation, right? Why do you have to live in confusion land, right? So let's say you're caught up in a bidding war and your manager says, hey, you're a hardworking person. We have, my department has, because I'm looking at this right here. Let's say you're a hardworking person. You tell me you feel like a whole new lease on life. My department has this position that's coming up. Your manager has a position that's coming up. They both know you're a hardworking person. This information that you can go look up. You can go look up your birth chart, right? You want to go with what's keeping you enlightened, right? You can go look up your birth chart. You can go look up your north node, right? Careers for your north node. What feels like a warm fireside chat? What feels like you're being baited into something and then switched up on, where you feel even more confused? The proper use of fire, right? Proper use of fire is significance, right? That's a basic need for fire. You feel empowered, you feel more confident, you feel more charismatic, more strong-willed, more motivated, more of a leader. You feel mental clarity after you've left this warm fireside chat, right? But the improper use of fire, you have more digestive issues, you feel more confused. You have either more enraged or more timid. You feel like you have low self-esteem. You feel exhausted. You just feel like, okay, I feel like I got more unanswered questions. Like I don't feel like I didn't get all my questions answered. Like what? I mean, I feel more confused, right? Like I was just baited into something, but I still don't really know what. I'm still unclear. I'm still really, really unclear about something, right? So when a light is shining on something, and it still feels like there's some secrets, you should be able to raise your hand and ask questions in your personal and your professional life. And if people don't have the answers to something, in humility, people should be able to say, I don't know. I really don't have the answer for that, but let me go find somebody who does have the answer, because there is no competition. There's no competition. Everybody doesn't have all the answers for everything. I don't know. You know what? But I can see, let me start finding answers for you. That's the whole purpose of us sharing. That's the whole purpose of us not gatekeeping and sharing. So that's going to solve your problem right there. People feel empowered. You know what? All right. You didn't have the answer, not a problem at all, but you were able to help me to find. And think about that like in the workplace. Those are the people that you want to go to. You will respect people a lot more when you can go to somebody who may not have all the answers. Like you have a little bit more patience with those energies. Those employees that's like, they may not have the answers, but they can point you directly to the people who do have it. You know what? I don't know that, but I know a person who can help you, right? That's how you save yourself the frustration and confusion right there. By being polite with everyone you meet. Everybody has the great I am, the creator inside of them. Everybody, right? Has the great I am inside of them. But that passion can look like something else. It can look like something else. But it's really, what do you do with it? How does it come across? How does it come across? Some people are completely turned off when that passion comes across as being blowtorched, right? When some people are backed against the wall, they tap in to source. They just tap into source, right? So you're grateful to source. You're grateful to source. To learn how to save yourself. You're grateful to source to learn how to save yourself. And move on, right? So here we have the Ace of Pentacles here. I do see money coming across your path, right? Yeah. So somebody is here we have the Four of Cups here. The Four of Cups, looking at apathy. Something is something maybe a turn off for you. Something was once something that you were passionate about. Something you're no longer passionate about, anymore. Something you're no longer passionate about anymore, right? Because again, everybody learns however they learn. Everybody learns however they learn in your personal and your professional life, right? So this could be for at work. This could be a bidding war for somebody at work. It could be literally like, you were trying to make a decision between two departments for real. Like, okay, I'm trying to make a decision. I mean, do I want to work for this side or do I want to work for that side? I'm trying to decide, okay, I'm passionate about this one and this one, right? But that's what it is. You should be able to raise your hand and say, hey, I have to, you know what? I have a few more questions. Here, right? Right, knowing your worth and knowing your value. So here we have the Ace of Pentacles here, and I do see money coming across your path. Right? Yeah, because you have multiple streams of income coming in. You have multiple streams of income. Yeah, you should be able to ask multiple questions, and people should be able to just like, here's some information. There you go, and enlighten you. I got some more information for you, because I'm seeing financial independence for you. That's what I'm seeing for you. I'm seeing financial independence, and those are the people that you want to link arms with. People that's not like sitting there hiding information, it's some big secret, like it's on the internet. People letting you in, right? Letting you in. That's what's gonna make you feel like you have a whole new lease on life. They letting you in, they letting your family in. They like, okay, they hardworking like you are. That's not a secret. It's not a competition. It's not a competition, right? So yeah, that's where you feel free. People not being shady. They not helping you based on who you connected with, what your last name is. They ain't triggered by, even if this is my last name or something, and they go, oh, you related to so and so. Oh, I can't like your post. I don't like you because your last name is such and such, or you just okay. Who has that kind of time? Anyway, so that's what Source is trying to help somebody. Learn how to create something new. Learning how to create something new that you can protect. And it's really like learning how to protect your water, like what you're creating. Like it's just like creating something for yourself in terms of linking arms with energies who have clear agendas. That's what you're doing. Just something new you're learning how to do for yourself is creating something, multiple streams of income, and linking arms with people who have clear agendas, not the bait and switch mess. Yeah, so there's some good news coming in. Just a message of some good news coming in for you. Somebody is definitely not going back to the bait and switch energies. You only want to be connected to those types of energies. Be people who have that bait and switch energy, who keep people in survival mode. Yeah, so you think about your future. We're talking about 11th house. Somebody is thinking about more in the humanitarian space, right? So you're thinking more about like, and that's the good news. It's like, okay, you're very clear. People who have this youthful energy versus people who are emotionally immature. There's a big difference. Big difference. People who have a youthful spirit, people who are like, they're innovative. Right? They're, who are thinking about the future, people who are thinking about technology, people who are humanitarians, who are aware, who have goals, who are, like I said, who no respecter of person, for real. Just like, okay, I don't care if they talking to a young person, they're going to share information, but they're talking to an older person, young person. They able to go with the flow, right? They're able to go with the flow. No bait and switch. No playing no games. Okay, I can't relate to you because you got this last name, or you this skin color, or you this whatever. I can't share information. Like what? Anyway, so Source is saying somebody is going to feel like they have a whole new lease on life, because that's the message that comes across. That's the message that comes across. Multiple streams of income. That's what I'm seeing here. So you passionate about what you do, or you operating in your north node, you operating in your purpose. All the stars in the sky are there to light up the sky. They serve their own purpose. It's there to serve their own purpose, right? So yeah. So that's just how some people are built. It's just how some people are built. That's just how some people are built. So I do feel like somebody just has now an innate spiritual understanding of how some people are built. Of just how people are built. So here we have the Chariot card. So when you're at a crossroad and you feel some kind of way about things, this is the I feel sign. When you're at a crossroad and you're trying to have a feeling about something, that is where somebody goes into prayer mode. You have a feeling about something. You go into, you're on top of something. You're on top of the wheel. You're on top of the wheel. So you got good news. Yeah, you got good news. Yeah. When you're talking about expansion, this is where you're talking about you're expanding things. Somebody's thinking about expansion. Like, okay, wait a minute. Hold on. That's where them ideas are coming from. Them light bulbs are like, Them light bulbs are coming, turning on in somebody's mind. I got some ideas. Okay. Right, I got ideas. Something global in terms of ideas are coming across your mind, right? In the proper use of fire. Right? Again, there's room for everybody to shine. Some people are emotionally immature, and that's just on that. If they are, they see everything as competition for them, but they don't know how to use their fire properly. That's a lower chakra. Right? And so lower chakras, that's the auric layer, that's the mental body. So solar plexus, the mental body that resides 3 to 8 inches off of the body. It's related to solar plexus, all of the mental processes. The ideas, the judgments, the layer that's connected to both the conscious and subconscious mind, and it'll reveal any self-doubts and limiting beliefs, right? So some people can agree to disagree without being disagreeable. Does that make them weak? No. Meek does not equate to weak. Some people just let source fight their battles. They just like, okay, whatever. All right, believe what you want to believe. They're not going to stand around and let them be judged. They're like, okay, whatever. They just tap in the source and keep it pushing. Then you got some people who want to stand there and argue you down. Okay? They be arguing with a brick wall. So source is saying you're on top of something. But you're thinking expansion. Right? Here's the Magician card. So you're not interested in confusion. This is the Magician card. And you're not interested in confusion. Like I said, being polite with everyone. You're getting some rest. So I think I got time for you getting some rest. So again, find out what your moon sign is. Learn how to pour into yourself. Yeah, there's moon right there. Learn how to pour into you. Right? And decide to enlighten yourself. Decide which pack you're on. You're in the dark pack or light pack. Light pack, is right, being enlightened. You want to be on the side of enlightenment. Yeah. Not the side where it's, intentionally trying to, determine other people's worth and value, right? Everybody has been here. Everybody has been on this right here. This is the Five of Pentacles. Everybody has wanted to be a part of something. Everybody. But just because people want to be a part of something doesn't mean that people return that feeling of making other people feel worthless. Some people just get up, they grab their key, and they move on. And build their own table. So here's the Five of Pentacles here. So So yeah, so somebody is working on themselves. Somebody is working on themselves, and it feels like a whole new lease on life. Yeah, but somebody's getting some rest and tossing some things into a burning bowl as it relates to a karmic cycle within themselves of confusion. That's what the fire is. And doing cleansing by the sun. This is another form of fire, right? This right here. Yeah. This is also fire here, the sun, right? This is sunbathing, sun cleansing. Again, I put on the shorts on my Instagram, YouTube shorts, and also on my TikTok, how to cleanse your auric field, right? So that's another way of doing it. So somebody coming out of the depth of emotions about being confused about something. Again, sometimes when you see it in print, step by step by step, you're an earth sign. Sometimes when you actually see it, you go, oh, okay, that makes sense as I'm looking at it in print. I'm actually reading it. I see it. Okay, makes sense, right? You can add to it, take away, whatever. But there you go. All right. That's what I'm seeing for you. So something is going to help you to make a decision about whatever you need to make a decision about. And for somebody, it could be like in terms of like making a decision about some, what you're investing in. So if it's a work decision that you've been working on, what job you're going to choose or whatever, which department you're going to or whatever, you're going to go to wherever's most clear for you. That's what because you can be passionate about something, but you're going to whatever's most clear for you. Right? You remember you all are ruled by Venus. You're not going to be an enemy to yourselves, right? Venus rules you in Libra, right? Your sign rules second house. Second house is about personality, temperament, appearance, self-image, first impression, self-awareness. Your sign rules second house, Second house is all about personal resources, money habits, possessions, values, financial security, self-worth, and also income, right? And then it also rules seventh house, which is Libra, right? We're not talking about any Libras that you know. But Libra is a justice card. You're not going to do an injustice to yourself. Libra is a seventh house is all about marriage, relationships, partnerships, business contracts, inner desires, and enemies. You're not going to be an enemy to yourself by being in any kind of a partnership with anything or anybody that sees you as opposition. Why? On God's green earth would you align yourself with anything or anybody that sees you as opposition coming through the door? Why would you do that to yourself? So when you're trying to make a decision about, whatever, why would you do that to yourself? Some people know how to move on. They need to pick up their key and roll out. Quietly just move on. Everybody not about when they move on, they gotta, you know what I'm thinking about? Thinking about the scene in this particular movie. Never mind. But anyway, yeah. So sources are saying, yeah, you just outrageous openness. So, dear love, open me to your will. Release me from my attachment. Surprise and delight me with your plan. You know what's needed, and I'm open to receive. Yeah. Some people can pick up on that very early. Like you go for you enter into like a new group or a new environment. Some people can just automatically pick up on, like, people see you coming through the door and they just see you as like, they're looking you all up and down. That's why I talk about your moon sign so much, and that's why I post the moon pictures on my community page for people to really tap into their emotional intelligence and keep your water flushed out. Like your water gets low. People are trying to make a quick decision. You can't even think and process your emotions. So it's just saying, you need time to process your emotions. Everybody needs time to process your emotions, because when you're constantly being rushed and making these quick decisions, you can't process that. So that's another thing too. But that information is out there, on social media. When people are constantly being able to told to rush something, and then, being made to feel worthless. Some people just get up and just walk away. Walk away. No retaliation. They know their worth and they know their value. They just move on with life. So work through your fears. Work through your fears. So Scorpio rules 8th house. Not necessarily talking about a Scorpio, right? You could have Scorpio in your birth chart. It could be your moon sign. I don't know. Only you know that because this is a general reading. But Scorpio is rules 8th house, right? Remember, Scorpio is ruled by the Tower card and the Judgment card, but something could be generational. And could be a sign that somebody could be carrying somebody else's karma. You could be attached to someone else's karma. You could be attached to someone else's karmic cycle. And it could be, and so it could be, who knows? I don't know whose karmic cycle you would be tied to, but that's for you to pray about. Like I say, when I mention zodiac signs, I'm not necessarily talking about a person, but that's something you want to ask Source for. You want to go in prayer to Source. So am I tied to anybody else's karmic cycle? Is it anybody that's holding on to a belief system about something that is hard for them to let go? Like they are fixated on a belief system about something to a point that has me confused. Like something they holding on to. Like if it's a bidding war, like let's say for instance there's two managers that's like really see you as like, okay, they almost like they got you like a rag doll pulling on both of your arms. They both want you in their department. They know you're a hardworking person that you can like revive, like you can bring their department back to life if that's the case, right? They got you by the arms, like your stitches about to come up, like you're a Raggedy Ann or Raggedy Andy doll, and the stitches are coming unraveled, and you like, whoa, and you just like, oh, hold on, I need to just put a pause or something in it, right? But one just almost seems like they have some kind of unresolved something about, almost like this, their passion is almost turning into like an obsession is like this hate for whatever. I don't know, because I'm looking at a lot of fire here. Source is saying to you, at some point, something in you needs to say, okay, something is turning into something else. Like this something else is going on here. You need to make a decision. And the decision is to first go to Source, the Creator, in prayer. Not be impulsive and hurry up and make a decision, because that's not really your zodiac sign. But the first action is to go to Source in prayer and then meditate. Okay, so you tell me what to do. Make it so crystal clear and plain and how I should proceed that it's so clear in how I should proceed. Then I'm just clear how I should proceed. The end. So go to Source. That's how you're going to free yourself. That is how you're going to free yourself. And that's how you're going to feel like a window, world opportunities, global. You're going to free yourself and move on. And you're not going to look back. Make a decision and you're not going to look back. You're not going to look back. And tossing things into a burning bowl, you're not going to look back. You're going to feel liberated and free. Free from all the shade, all of the this, that, whatever. You're going to feel liberated and move on. Yeah, you're just going to let it be. You're going to move on. That is what I have for you. Hopefully this is helpful. Congratulations to whatever decision somebody makes for whatever. But you're going to remove yourself from a karmic cycle. But you're going to be the one that's going to be initiating the change. And somebody's going to, for real, somebody's going to feel liberated. You're going to remove yourself from confusion. That's what you're doing. So that's what I have for you. Hopefully this is helpful. See you in the next video. Bye.